What I'm about to explain is so out there that you need to really be open minded, like so open minded. You know, it's serious when I have a microphone. You get what I'm saying? In 2022, I was binge watching a lot of paranormal shows. During that time, this thought came over me: why do we see ghosts if we are told that the soul crosses over after death? Many mediums and psychics and religions believe that the soul crosses over to go wherever the hell it's supposed to be going, right? Religion, heaven and hell. Mediums believe that the soul crosses over to the soul realm, right? But nobody's ever really explained, why the hell do we see ghosts? Why do we see spirit roaming around sometimes? So, in the middle of that thought, I was bombarded with a huge download of data that freaked me out. That I was like, whoa, okay, this makes a lot of sense, but how the hell do I explain it? So, I'm gonna be reading off my little notes because it's a lot and I wanna make sure I get it all across as best as I can. So, this might be broken up a bit. So, we have a soul realm, is what they explain to us. It's not really a heaven or anything, it's almost like a waiting room, okay? We also have the Akashic Records. Anybody who's a spiritualist has heard of it. Edgar Cayce spoke about it a million years ago, it feels like. And what it is a database or a library of the past, present, and future. In the soul realm, we have what we call ascended masters, which are souls that are highly elevated or high ranking, I would say. These ascended masters are the ones that kind of help other souls that want to come down to earth to experience life, kind of like get better at it, get better at life, elevating their souls. Does that make sense? These souls, I'm going to call them a master copy. All right. The Akashic Records is the reason why a lot of spiritualists believe that we live multiple lifetimes all the time at the same time. Okay. There's some spiritualists that believe that. And it's because of the Akashic Records. The master copy, which is essentially our higher self, is a soul or the original. We'll call it original as well, that wants to learn and elevate itself, and so it sends a piece of itself down to earth to learn. You heard that right. It's a piece. It's not the entire soul. This master copy will send down a copy, spirit. So master copy, soul, copy, spirit, down to earth to live and experience life, and we make the choice to do so. Free will has a huge part in how we live our lives down here. Please remember, the master copy always stays in the soul realm, wherever it may be. And the copy is on earth. So it sends a copy to earth, and the master copy stays in the soul realm. I forgot to mention that. This is where I'm going to explain how ghosts are being seen. So, boom. The copy spirit passes away, crosses over, takes back the lessons it learned, and can come back if they want to, back to Earth or whatever other planet, right? They want to, or stay to become guides for other souls. All right. When that copy passes away, it becomes a spirit, it goes back and it brings this data of all the things that it learned in its lifetime to put in the Akashic Records in the library. Does that make sense? But that's a copy that is ready to go. They're done. They end up back and they share their experience with the other souls and the ascended masters, ask them questions about what they've learned. Remember, every single time a copy spirit passes away, it goes back to itself, the master copy, right? Which is the soul, and they share all this information. All right, so now we have copies that have sudden death. Copies or spirits that die all of a sudden and they don't realize that they've passed. Those turn into ghosts. Those are the ones that are stuck in a loop, right? Doing the same thing over and over again. And in the paranormal community, they call that residual energy. Those are the ones that have no idea that they're even doing what they're doing. They're just repeating day to day life, human experiences that they have had, right? That particular ghost needs help from mediums or psychics, right? They also need prayers or help. They can be people who are elevated spiritually, like the clergy, pastors, fathers, etc., or anyone who's a spiritualist who works with spirit. They can help them cross over to then go back to itself, the master copy. So then again, we repeat the cycle again. sharing the information to put it in the Akashic record. Then we have copies that pass away knowingly. So either older people or sickly people, these are events that they just know, right? These particular ghosts, they become that way because they are unwilling to leave without giving information, or they are not done with something on earth, their human experience. Those are the ones that become a haunting. It's because they're needing to give information to a loved one or a family member or whatever, something that they were not done yet on this earth, and their human experience is still attached to them and they just need to get it out. But once again, we have the psychic and the mediums, this is why we exist, and or higher elevated spiritualists or the clergy that come and do the work to help the spirit cross over or have the ghost snap out of it, remember it's a spirit, to go back to its master copy, its soul, to then share this information to put it in the Akashic record. Now, here's the part that gets really complicated, and I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can in a short period of time because this thing is already long enough. Many people use the word reincarnation. I'm here to tell you that we do it all the time. It's not something special, we do it all the time. But then we have cases of children and some adults, but mainly children, that remember their past life. We're going to call these copies the remembering. These are people who remember their past life and they're down here for a mission and one mission only. The mission is for them to retrieve themselves, right? The ghost that's haunting from 1872, to retrieve itself, to send it back to its master copy because they have been stuck here way too long. So I'm going to give you a scenario. Basically, the master copy is like, bro, where the hell is this, piece of me? It's been gone for a very long time. By the time it realizes it, this piece of itself has been stuck on earth, haunting a specific place for a very long time. So it's like, okay, I really need to retrieve myself because I've been down there for a minute and I need this information to be put in the library. So boom, a person is born and all of a sudden these children they remember everything from their death to their who they were, etc., etc. They almost become obsessed with this memory. The parents eventually then get a medium or psychic or a past life regression therapist that helps the child or adult in some cases, and then they release the ghost that has been haunting that particular area. So it could be able to go back to spirit, to go back to the master copy, to then share this information. What happens is that the child remembering then sends this signal. It starts to vibrate a signal into a frequency to itself, because that child is essentially that master copy and that child is essentially that past life. And so while all of this stuff is being worked out, there is a frequency that's being sent from that child to itself to say, hey, you gotta go back. Because what was happening was this particular ghost had unfinished business, human experiences that were unfinished. So it stayed stuck to give this information to the family. Well, they didn't have anybody, a psychic or anybody, to do any of this stuff for it. So it stayed stuck here waiting to give this information. But now it's been so long that it's just there, haunting. Once the child remembers all of this stuff, it almost gives like a relief to that spirit. Okay, now they remember me. Now I don't remember what the message was, but they remember me. I'm out, right? And then essentially the child itself or the adult actually feels relief. They no longer have anxiety or stress and they live out their normal life because their mission was mainly to bring itself back to the soul realm. And that's why a lot of the times these children, they have all these memories because the master copy said, here you go, boo, I need you to remember all of this stuff. Whew. So if you stuck around this long, thank you so freaking much because it was a lot. There's more details to this stuff. There's details that I can't explain on here. I mean, if there's questions, just ask me. I will try to answer them. But mediums are not wrong. I mean, we do cross over and some do stay. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a human experience that they need to finish. There's a piece of us that stays up in the soul realm at the same time as on earth. And this is why we have multiple lifetimes playing out at the same time. Anyway, I hope this brings you some sort of comfort and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.